Hey, what's going on? It's your boy VOIN, and today I have a very special and unique video here. I'm playing VOIN, and I've already pretty much beaten the game and maxed out a build, and I just wanted to show you guys the build in action and then explain it afterwards and its capabilities. Basically, the entire gameplay loop with this build is spend energy, create bells, create ice, tornadoes like this, stand in them, and deal damage, and basically everything kind of falls over. And everything else in the kit for survivability or damage boosting just kind of happens naturally, because it's already just caked into the kit. And after I complete this, I'll show you what it does to the two bosses that are located in this area. And there's a couple other items and things you can add to this build or change it to change whether or not you want more survivability, which I really don't think you need. You could like mess with some things and like maybe do a little bit more damage with like physical damage, but I don't really think it's all that worth it. And you do lose out on some synergy since there isn't really that many necklaces in the game, and even some item slots kind of feel, I don't know, like they're out of place because there just isn't enough items in the game yet. But I pretty much synergized as much as I could with the items that are in the game currently, and made this room nuking build. I had this build pretty much changed a ton. I tried crit with it. Do not run crit with this build. I have a little fruit in the tree that gets rid of your ability to crit, because if you do crit, I found that you basically ruin your bell's lifespan. So when you create a bell, it has a certain number of hits based on, you know, what level your weapon is. The bell has 6 hits currently, so if you crit, let's say for 2 damage on the bell, then you would waste and eat up 2 hits in one single hit. So don't run crit. With this, turn off crit in the tree. And as you can tell, I'm just pretty much walking through this like it's a cakewalk, and even early on when I didn't have my build maxed out, I was pretty much walking through this challenge pretty early on a pretty hard difficulty too, with this build, and I'll share the reasons why after I room nuked this and I room nuked the 2 bosses. Now, first I was kind of confused on how it worked. I thought it worked a little differently. But yeah. And also, if you pay attention to the gameplay, you'll notice that my cooldowns are extremely short. That's basically the whole point of the build, is you just spam your abilities, smack bells, and you just get your abilities do damage, weaken things, and yeah, just like pretty much nuke everything. And you can just like farm with this build pretty easily. It's not hard to kill big tough enemies like this. You just stand here and smack a bell and they all just disappear. And that's how easy it is to do that challenge with this build. Now, I didn't have really the build as ironed out as I do. And what I mean by that is I didn't, you know, like pretty much min-max everything as much as possible. It's a little different from what I was before. It was much worse before, but it still got me through doing that challenge very easily. Now we're gonna go up here. We're gonna fight this mini boss up in this room. You can get up here normally by like walking up that way, getting like up here, and then walking down this set of staircases here. There's like a little like jumper thing or something down somewhere that like pushes you up here, and then you just come down here and you find this room. This is a little secret mini boss. One of the bosses that you can fight, and you get Flamekeeper's sickles from him. Alright, let's see. Was it because I did that? Yes, it was. Spawn a couple bells. And he's dead. And that's pretty much what this build does, whether it be single target damage or, you know, crowds. They just don't survive, and you cannot be killed pretty much. You're pretty much invincible. I would say there's only maybe like a scenario where you like don't fight back that you literally get killed, but even then, like, the chances of that happening are so unbelievably low that even early on when I was doing that challenge before, like, naturally, I was like losing hearts but still gaining them back. And that's pretty much what this build does, just nukes the boss. I probably could have nuked her quicker. I mean, she got nuked pretty fast. Regardless, this is the build. You want to build the tibia, and then for other little augments on this, you could run a second heart augment if you want even more survivability. So instead of 3 temporary hearts that I have right now when you take damage, with like a normal red heart, instead of gaining 3, you'd gain 4. It's basically like a safety net thing, which is this heart in here. It's a safety net. There's also the crystal regrowth, which does basically the same thing, but every 3.5 seconds it just adds another heart, which is inherently worse because, let's say for instance, you know, I eat 3 hearts of damage. Let's say I get poisoned and I eat 3 hearts of damage, and then I eat a red heart, and sure, every 3.5 seconds I'll just gain another heart, but if I'm eating a red heart, I don't instantly gain the 3 hearts. Instead, I'll just gain, you know, 1 heart. So I think if you're going to build one of the temporary hearts, it's going to be this one over the crystallic regrowth heart. I don't even want to pronounce this. I'm terrible with words. The physioelectricity, I think that is how you pronounce that. I don't want to mess up that. But regardless, you build a tibia because you want as much cooldown as possible so you can spam your spin attack and spawn bells. The tibia reduces your cooldowns by 25% in general, and then when you use your powers, it decreases the powers of the other cooldowns by 25%. So if you press your empower, then it'll reduce your cooldown of your spin and your slam, and then if you use your slam, it'll reduce the cooldown of your other 2 powers, and so on and so forth. And then pretty much I have power leaps and guiding winds on. It's just these little wisps you saw around that spawn in front of me when I run around with no weapon out. Basically increase your movement speed. And then the other one makes you be able to have multiple jumps and they go higher. And that's just for movement around the map. You could, like I said, you could add the second heart thing so you get even more survivability if you wanted. You could increase your luck. with this build, since you really don't ever take damage. You could, like, literally throw anything in here. If you want more Ichor, you could throw on these two in these slots, but I just have it here for movement speed. This is pretty much like a luxury extra slot. It's whatever you want. I feel like the movement endgame is probably the best. And then for all of these stat increases with this build, you want to run Influx and Psychic Damage. You want to run these two, like, probably guaranteed. Now, if you're farming, I would say that you throw on, instead of all damage, you throw on Resourcefulness and give yourself 15% Ichor increased on all of your items, so you have a ton of Ichor coming in when you're farming. For this build, you really just need Influx. You need Psychic Damage, and then pretty much you could do physical damage. I wouldn't really do it, though, because if you just do all damage, just everything, you could argue that you could do headhunting. So for every monster you kill, you get 5.5 physical damage until the end of battle. But I think the overall all damage static damage, just for killing single targets or just killing anything in general, it's everything in your kit. So it's just innately more damage overall consistently. So I think Psychic Damage, Influx, and all damage is the best. And if you want something else a little bit more helpful, you could do Resourcefulness, or maybe even Luck if you want, you know, more item chance. And that's what I would do for all of these 3 increases for everything. I have that literally on everything. So on and so forth. All right, moving on to the necklace. It's probably the most important part of the kit, because this is what carries your damage early paired with the hammer. And basically what it does is increases your psychic damage. Inflicting psychic damage has a chance to apply Weaken to the target for 6 seconds. Now, Weakened is a 10% debuff, so they take 10% more damage, and this can just stack infinitely. So I'm at a point in the game where I just basically hit the bell once or twice and everything just dies, because I just do that much damage because everything's like maxed out. But before, when I'm like not this powerful, I can keep smacking the bell and just weakening and weakening and weakening everything over and over again. Sure, it won't be a 70% chance because it's maxed out right now, pretty much. The stats are where they're going to be at. But let's say it's like a 30% chance, and I can hit the bell like 3 or 4 times. I can do that and imagine if there's 3 bells or 2 bells next to each other. I can just smack that, and I'm just, you know, on hit, reoccurring a chance for them to be weakened over and over and over and over again. Like 6 times or 8 times. Like, I can just keep doing that. And that's basically where this build becomes stupid, is how just easy it is. I just summon a bell by using energy, which is how you just play the game, by using your abilities. And by using your abilities, you get cooldown for your abilities. Now, with the necklace, I feel is kind of underwhelming because there isn't many other necklaces you can use here. I'm not doing fire damage. I'm not doing poison damage. So none of this stuff is useful to me. The ice is like a cherry on the top, to be honest. There's some other secondary things I could put on the weapon that I tested that are pretty good. But ice and Ritual of Conductivity is probably the best for this build. I've tried all these other things, and it just doesn't really fit into the build. There's just not enough items, I would say, in the game yet to really do a true psychic build, but this is probably like the best you could get it at. And basically, activating Rune Infusion power summons clones before me, reducing lightning resistance of all encircled monsters by 140% for 15 seconds. And then inflicting cold damage with a 25% chance conjures an ice pillar that pierces random monsters, dealing 75 cold damage, applying 1 sec freezing. So this is just like passive synergy. This is synergy with one of my weapons things I'll get to in a second. And if you do want to change your weapons, like augment or whatever, like this basically other slot becomes irrelevant. And so do the other ones. The other ones are just all irrelevant for this build, but like this is the best synergy you could probably make with another necklace piece without something in your kit being rendered useless. But then we have the Mortal Heart, which is probably the most I would say OP thing I found early paired with the thing below it. And the reason being is because in the way that this game works is you hit things and you gain progress towards getting a heart back. And what this does is makes it so you can't gain heart charges back by attacking people, but you gain increased Ichor gain, you get increased luck, and you get increased damage. So it's an extreme stat boost, but you lose gaining your hearts back naturally. But that'll be fixed by adding 3 temporary hearts upon receiving damage, like I showed before. So if you take damage from one of your normal hearts, it'll give you 3 extra hearts for free. Now, sure, this like isn't going to be as good because it's plus 16, so it'll probably be like 1 or 2. But if you add, like I said before, on that other extra heart, this second heart thing, it makes it even better, like early game. So add that for the early game. This is really just like later game stuff. So early game, I would probably add second heart. I would have this one, and then I would probably have maybe one of these Ichor ones if you want more Ichor. And then we have here on the heart at the bottom, we have increased resourcefulness by 12.5% for each active heart. So you're just gaining more Ichor for free. Or if you want, you know, more chance, it's basically a luxury slot. You can increase your luck by 90%. You could, like I said, gain more hearts here, but I don't really think it's really that good. You could, I think, add this on top of this. I've actually not really tried that, but you definitely could just get a crazy, what do you call it? You could really get a crazy, if I go in here, you get a crazy extra blue heart, like, build going on, but you, like, really don't need it. Like, you could pair, like I said, this with these 2 hearts in the augments here, and you could basically be invincible because you have so many just extra hearts. It's literally like impossible to kill you. But I just have more resourcefulness on every heart. So that's what you could do there if you want even more hearts. And then we have the Runes of Purist. Now this works perfectly with the Immortal Heart because attacks no longer restore heart charge. So these both deny the heart charge, but every 4th hit restores 1 heart charge with an 80% chance. Now, this is extremely high chance because it's maxed out, but I would say normally it's probably anywhere from a 30 to 50% chance, depending on where you are in your playthrough. But that's still pretty crazy. Every 4th hit restores 1 heart charge. Now, with a weapon like the Bell Ringer, that's pretty easy because you can just spawn a bell and use the spin attack and just smack the bell. Now, every bell you hit counts as a hit. So if I have 2 bells in front of me and I use my spin attack and I hit them once each time and then twice, I've already hit the bell 4 times within 2 hits because there's 2 in front of me. Now, imagine if there's enemies plus bells near you, and you can just see how crazy this gets with how many times you're proccing chances for you to instantly gain hearts back. It gets pretty stupid. And that's why I wasn't dying early game, and I was just sitting in enemies. And it was like I was pretty much invincible. And I'm weakening everything. With this, I'm doing more psychic damage. And, you know, I'm making them take more damage for free, just because I'm using this weapon. Now, I have on Minor Energy Flow and Major Energy Flow. Both these, every 3rd hit reduces random cooldown by 24%, and every 5th hit reduces cooldown of all powers by 21%. Now, these 2 on top of the Tibia passive just pretty much means you use your abilities in rotation and you just get them back for free, which is really stupid. I've looked at other things in this section, and you could use some things, like you could maybe use Panacea. Every 7th hit removes a stack of weakened poison freezing and deals physical damage. There's one that does lightning damage. You can apply a stack of freezing or weaken to the target every 4th hit, but just Major Energy Flow and Minor Energy Flow are just the best because you just gain so much cooldown reduction. It's kind of just stupid. And nothing really compares to it, especially since this entire build is just getting hits, and every hit equals you just gaining something for free. Whether it be cooldown, whether it be, you know, status effects like weakened, or even just psychic damage in general because of your bells. And now we move on to the heart of the show, which is the bell ringer. Spending energy summons a ghostly bell close by. Each hit to the bell emanates a wave dealing 320 physical damage to monsters nearby. The bell persists for 6 hits. Now, since it's maxed out, I can pretty much, since this is every 3rd hit, use one bell and get 2 24% cooldown reductions for free on one bell. Now, I have 3 energy, and if I use my spin attack on someone up close, I can get 3 bells pretty much instantaneously. And then if I hit all of those 3 bells with one swoop, I instantly gain 24% cooldown on one random ability. And by using that ability, I gain 25% cooldown reduction on my other abilities. And then you can just see where it just keeps on going and keeps getting crazier. Once we reach the 5th hit, I get 21% cooldown on all my abilities, and it just gets out of hand with the cooldown. And then we have the Deafening Rage. This is from these 2 axes here. Now what this does is battling monsters fills me with anger. At its peak, I enter rage, boosting attack speed by 28%, and unleashing a shout that deals 190 psychic damage and applies 5 stacks of weaken to nearby monsters. Now, just by being near enemies or fighting them increases this bar for free, which is what you'll be doing all game, and getting 5 stacks of weakened to a nearby monster instantly while dealing damage to them for free, basically, is just insane. It's just stupid. It's just brainless debuff, and it's just free damage. This has to be like one of the stupidest passives I've found on a weapon. It's just OP paired with this build, because this necklace just gives you more psychic damage, and by inflicting psychic, you have, like, I could have a 5, weaken debuff applied to them instantly, and then have a 70% chance that another weaken, so I can apply 6 weakened instantly just by being near stuff. Like, that's just stupid. And my psychic damage is just boosted by this, which is just also just stupid. Everything just happens because it just is. It's just there. It's like you don't even need to think about it. It just happens. All right, and then moving on, there's 2 things we could do here. Now, Perpetual Blizzard, there's a lot of things that you put in this last slot for even more cooldown. For there's this thing I did for sharpness, and I've tested some other things. Crit, like I said earlier, not to play with this build. Just go straight damage. But this paired with this nice little necklace is nice. You get to actually use another necklace slot besides this one, because there really isn't that many necklaces in the first place in this game yet, so there isn't really that much room to do a ton of building. But what I found is that if you use Perpetual Blizzard, spending energy, well, there's spending energy here. That's what you do with this weapon. You want to spend energy. So it just happens every time you do a bell. Every time you summon a bell, you summon a little blizzard. Now, standing in the blizzard gives you this amazing status effect called Obscured. What does Obscured do? While Obscured, any damage is negated with a 50% chance, meaning if I were to take a heart, then I wouldn't take a heart with a 50% chance. So it either happens or it doesn't happen. You play into the gameplay loop you're already playing into by spending energy. You spawn a bell, you spawn a blizzard, you stand in that, you smack them, and they basically just fall over, and there's a 50% chance that the damage they deal to you doesn't even happen. So you basically just gain survivability for free. And if you don't want to run that, what you can do is you can run a good old Eternal Duty, which is just every time you use a power, you have 2 seconds of invulnerability. I don't really know if this stacks. I haven't really tested it, because you can just instantly use 2 abilities, so I don't know if you can just stack that invulnerability twice instantly, or and then like using your spin attack so you're invulnerable for that entire attack. I haven't really tested it, but maybe, I don't know. There's probably like a buff that you get when you use this for your attacks. But basically what I have tested is this counter surge, is that parrying recharges a random power by 22%. You really won't be parrying all that often. It's just whenever you notice you're out of energy and you see an enemy going for an attack that you can parry, you could parry them and just get free 22 CDR for free. But using any power applies 4.3 stacks of sharpen to yourself, meaning that just by spamming your abilities, you're just increasing your physical damage by 10%, and sharpen increases all physical damage by 10%, meaning that you get 40% just with 4 stacks, and you can comfortably stack this to 50%, by the way. So you can do the math. Your physical damage basically goes through the roof. It's pretty ridiculous. I have tried this cleave thing. This is what I was running for like I would say for the longest time before I found the deafening rage. Basically you just swing and each hit increases the next physical damage by 110%. It's not really going to be this crazy because this is maxed out, but you could just run this and keep smacking stuff since it's a mace over and over and over again with the spin attack, and you just basically watch things fall over. You could pair these two together, they're pretty good, but like this one, just with the damage stacking, gets pretty ridiculous. I tried the Celestial Cartography weapon. It's not really that great. It's cool to watch like all the things you can do, just like make strands, but like nothing survives long enough or takes enough damage to die to those things, so you might as well just gain something elsewhere. Slashing Winds, I tried this to see if the Slashing Winds heavy attack would hit a bell, and it doesn't, which is a little sad. I was wishing that I could be able to smack a bell from a range if I wanted to with a heavy attack, and I can't. I tried the lightning stuff, and it just, like, everything falls over before it even matters. So don't even bother with that. On unsuccessful hit with a 19% chance recharges one of your powers. I haven't actually tested this because you don't really need the CDR, but you could get even more CDR. Pretty much you just hit things and you could instantly gain your abilities back. I mean, you already have an insane amount of CDR in your kit, so if you wanted to get rid of maybe a CDR thing and add more status effects somewhere, I think on your like necklace or whatever it is, you could do this, but I think this is just over the top. To be honest, you could like pair this with the counter surge and maybe get some insane stacks going, but I think that might be a little over the top. You already get your abilities back pretty much after you use them. There's the sudden death to insta-kill things, but you're already insta-killing things, so it doesn't really matter. I tried this, and it's just, like, everything kind of falls over, so you don't really know whether or not you insta-kill it or not. And that's pretty much, it for the most part, with the weapon. I just thought this was the best thing you could possibly get going on here. You could add, the counter surge instead of the perpetual blizzard. You're gonna probably have the counter surge before the perpetual blizzard, but actually I don't know. You might, well, yeah, you might have that before this, because this is like after you beat the ice area. So you could be running both of these if you max out your weapon. I just kind of did everything together. I didn't really max out one thing before the other, but if you do choose to max out this, you can run these two, and it's pretty much just the freest thing ever. It's just free damage. You don't need to like think about anything. It's just you use your abilities, you get more damage. But by doing that, you do lose basically a necklace slot like being useful, because this is poison and this is fire, and you're not doing poison or fire damage in this build. You could try to like fit it in there, but it's not gonna happen. You're just gonna hit your bell and everything's gonna die anyway. Those things aren't gonna matter enough. And by just having, you know, this and this, it just pairs beautifully with this, because it's just giving you the obscured status effect, and just adding another thing on top of the already broken bell that spawns when you spend energy. So I would run either that, or if you don't really care about having another thing that synergizes in your kit with it, you just run Counter Surge and just do even more physical damage. It gets pretty nuts with Counter Surge. I was having a lot of fun just spamming the stacks as much as humanly possible. And then we move on to the ring. Ring really isn't that crazy. There isn't really a lot of rings that you can use. You're not restoring heart charge with this build. You do that with hit RNG. We're not critting in this build. You don't want crit because it ruins your bell's lifespan. You could do a perfect dash here, but I have a thunder perfect dash on. Like, it doesn't really matter. You could use either or of these. Like, it doesn't matter. You could choose. I just have the thunder one on right now. The forceful cleanse is really nice, and you're just not using this poison one. So you could use any of these 3 rings here. You could double up on this, but I think you should want forceful cleanse, because a blaze, poison, and freezing is just really annoying to have. Freezing slows you, a blaze and poison causes you to take more damage. You don't want to take more damage. So you can either choose, this or the cold one. Low key, I don't know, looking at it, I think I might take the cold ring here. To be honest, I think I might actually put the cold ring on, because it just kind of pairs so beautifully with the necklace I already have on here, to be honest. There's something I actually changed in my build that I didn't even think about changing. But before, like I said, you could go over here, change this out. I guess now, since you have a perfect dash thing that pairs with this, and you're not really losing, what do you call it? You're not really losing that synergy as much anymore. And that's pretty much the entire build. When you take damage with a temporary heart, here it deals 500 physical damage to monsters nearby. So you take damage with all 3 your temporary hearts. That's 1500 damage, physical damage. And then guess what? You take damage with a normal heart, and then you get 3 temporary hearts back, and every 3.5 seconds that resets. So let's say every second I get hit, and I do 1500 damage, and then half a second later, guess what? If I get hit again, I just instantly gain those 3 hearts back. And, yeah, I mean, can I be killed? I don't know. If I stand still, can I be killed? Maybe if I'm hit so many times in a row so fast with so many enemies, sure. But, the chances of this happening with this build when you're just nuking is just, it's already impossible. And like I said before, you could add on the other way to gain temporary hearts and the other way to gain temporary hearts here. But that would just be stupid. I mean, sure, you could do it, but you already have enough and you want more resourcefulness here. Like I said, if you want more resourcefulness, you could technically get rid of one of these 2 things and add that extra heart thing, and so you can gain another heart so you get more resourcefulness, and then you could add one of those other Ichor things if you want to farm more Ichor. And if you don't want all damage, change it to resourcefulness for more Ichor increase on all of your items, and run influx and psychic damage always, because you're spamming abilities 24/7 and you're smacking bells, which equals psychic damage, which equals everything falls over and dies. And that's pretty much it. You get hit, deal 500 physical damage, you get the hearts back. You're cleansing yourself of annoying status effects that are just a pain in the butt. And then you have perfect dashes. Like I said, you can use the lightning one or this one, but this one just kind of works with this necklace anyway, since you're not doing poison or fire damage. And that's pretty much the entire build. I've done a ton of testing with this build. I've done crit, I've done straight physical stuff, I've done psychic stuff, I've done a lot of things. I've even tested poison and crit with this build, but this is where I landed. So we'll just slowly, scroll through here and give you guys the full build in its glory. And I just wanted to share this and yap about it a little bit because it was just so fun to make. I've really enjoyed this game, and I'll probably do a full playthrough some point in the future, or I might just do more build testing and show you guys another build I've come up with. But I just thought I would share this build that I made because it was just like so chaotic. I was playing the game, and at first it was really hard for me because I had never played a game like this before, and I was kind of bad at it. So I almost at one point uninstalled this game because I low-key made it too hard for myself in the beginning. And it was like impossible for me to like play the game, and I kept dying over and over, and I was getting nowhere because I was just losing my Icar. By the way, this entire time we've been on the max difficulty. So everything is extremely easy to do. And if you don't believe already that this build is overpowered, I'll just show you here while I yap a little bit before we go ahead and end this video. But yeah, in the beginning, I was kind of like lost, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. This is I would say my farming spot. I don't know if there's a better spot to farm, but this is really brainless and an easy way to get your stuff up. I should also, after I stop yapping and showing you how this build does in this area, my tree of fruits to pair with this build. But basically in the beginning, I was pretty much kind of stuck, and I didn't know what build I wanted to create, and then I found the heart. That makes it so that I have an RNG chance on every hit I do to instantly gain a heart back. And then I found this weapon, and I was so intrigued that I was like, wait a minute. Can I just hit the bell and that hits everything, which then every hit I get gives me a chance at the heart back? Now, at first, I thought is when I hit the bell and it actually did the damage to them, I thought that was the chance I was getting the heart. So if I hit the bell once, I thought I would get it twice, which is probably how it works, to be honest, because I don't know if me hitting the bell and me hitting an enemy at the same time counts as 2 hits or not. It probably does, to be honest. But even without that in and of itself, me hitting the bell counts as a hit in the first place, and if I hit it again, that's another hit, and then again, and then again, and then again. You just understand the gameplay loop. So basically, I'm pretty sure it actually probably does work like that. And what I mean is, if I hit someone and the bell, like if I hit these guys and the bell, that was 2 hits of psychic damage on them, and I hit the bell as well, so that's 3 hits. No? If it's coded like that, then it works like that, because it kind of does feel like that, because early on in the game, if you run that, this heart, this rune thing, and this weapon, it does feel like you are pretty much invincible, especially if you gain that extra heart item too. You pretty much can't die, as well as having this psychic necklace on. If you just have this, like, loadout, like, right here, pretty much, you're pretty much good to go. The necklace would change early for you, probably. What I did early is I ran the crit. What did I run? Oh no, I would run this just for clearing status effects, or I'd run one of the perfect dash things early, because you don't really have the freedom of just, you know, building 2 other items effects on this one while also having the other temporary heart effect there. So this build will look probably a little different for you early on. It's really what you need in terms of survivability or just more damage or whatever, but you want these 4 main things here, and then the ring you can change like early on. But once you get that extra slot here for your first, you know, secondary power, I would just slap this on, put what do you call it? The extra heart thing in this slot instead of the movement shit, and or more Icar if you really don't need the extra heart and you're finding that your survivability is good enough even with 5 just normal hearts. Yeah, and that's pretty much this entire build. I mean, I haven't really been slaying out all that crazy, but you can, I don't know if you've noticed, there's like this weird S tier, A tier thing in the top right, and pretty much you can keep that at the highest one. It's not S tier, it's like the what is it? I forget what it's called. Vindicator, I think, is the best you can get on this. Yeah, you can pretty much keep it at this level, the Vindicator level, while you're in this area that I teleported to. and just farm Ichor like crazy. And that's pretty much what I did to get this build maxed out that I did testing with. And yeah, it's just this easy, guys. You go up to something, you spend energy, it spawns ice crap, it spawns a bell, you smack the bell, everything dies. And that's pretty much it. And I could show off, you know what, I will show off this one other thing really quickly before I yap. I'll actually change my good old weapon thing to the what do you call it, to the sharpness thing to show you guys how crazy that can get, just because why not? It's a cool thing to witness how many sharpness stacks you can get, and I'll show you my tree here while I'm at it. At first I pretty much completely got rid of my lightning damage. I actually just got this now. Upon taking fatal damage, I have 10 seconds to kill 5 shades of myself before I die successful. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, and there's this as well. Upon receiving a negative status effect, my resistance increased by 60% for 2 seconds. I think these two could probably be good. You're not going to be taking any fatal damage anytime soon. And I don't need the resistances because I already have the annoying status effect clear here. So that doesn't really matter. All right, let's move on to the ones that we actually have in the tree here. Let's move on to the main ones. This is a bonus one because, you know, I only have 2 things or whatever. This is pretty good. I could take this out, but you kind of want the super dash momentum, like late game. Like 15% experience gain is cool, but you lose a portion if you do die early, which is kind of annoying. So just having the extra movement is, I just feel is better. I won't be dying anytime soon, so I could put that on, but just having more movement like late game is just innately better because you want to get around the map. Charges all runes every 4.7 seconds, basically. Every 4.7 seconds, I could get all my cooldown or a heart back instantly with my runes here, which is pretty cool. And all my other rune related things or whatever. And then Landing Glory, which is that S tier, A tier Vindicator thing, increases your XP gain or whatever. So it's just more XP for you, which means more potential up here on the left, so more fruits. And then we have, if the target is an Ortravat, you know, get more Ichor. Taking damage reveals your dash charges. Parrying. This is what I was going to show you 2 seconds ago with this. If you parry, you get a random power by 22%. You know, the CDR reduction instantly. And then if you parry with no energy, then you get all your energy back. And then this recharges every 15 seconds. So every 15 seconds, you could get all your energy back for free whenever you want. And then there's this. Critical chance is reduced by 100%, so you have no chance of critical chance. But all your other damage increased by 28%, and you don't want crit chance with this build at all. And that's pretty much it. You don't really care about taking damage, because if you do take damage, guess what? It just blows up. And if you do take damage, you just gain your hearts back anyway. With the safety net. So I'll actually show all that off and show you how this works as well. And then we'll end the video there, and that'll be the conclusion of this build that I have created. But yeah, I just thought I would want to share this build with you guys, and I literally, if you know, I'll show you. If I look at all my other weapons, the only one I ever tried was these snakes, because I thought they were cool. But the build didn't really work out. I have scrolled through it a few times by accident this video, but I thought that this same build would work with this, and it doesn't really, because you're not getting as many hits. So I'll probably have to do some more testing and try a poison build, a crit build, and other builds, and share those with you guys. But I thought that I would just share this one because this one just carried me through the whole game, and I didn't even want to take it off. And I actually went out of my way and maxed it out because I was just like, this is so OP, how can I make this even more OP than it already is? And I'll just show you guys the build here one more time. Like I said, you can take all damage off and put on resourcefulness if you want to farm, but keep influx and psychic damage on here. And you are pretty much just ready to slay out and just kill everything in your path for free, without dying or without there being any chance of dying. And I'll quickly show off the me taking damage here and gaining my hearts back. So if you saw, I took damage. I have a heart missing, but ready? Yep, and I gained my hearts back. And then guess what? If I hit these guys, or if I hit the bells, look at that. I just gained my hearts back by hitting bells and not even hitting enemies. Yep, that's how stupid this build is. I don't even need an enemy in front of me. I just need a bell, and I can hit the bells, and I can have chances of gaining my own hearts back instantaneously. This build is extremely stupid, and you should run it. Now, if you look in the bottom left here, if I just start spamming my powers, let me hit the bells too to gain my powers back really quickly, I will be able to consistently, on rotation, especially when there's more enemies that spawn here, be able to keep up stacks of sharpened for free. And I have 40 right now. 42, 47, 49. You can pretty much just keep 50 stacks of sharpened at all times here for the free. Now, like I said, with that other weapon augment, you could technically get it even higher with instantly on a hit refreshing your ability with a 19% chance or whatever. But you don't even need that, and who wants that when you could already have enough CDR in your build and you could get more damage for free, but by just enraging and putting weakness stacks on everything and doing psychic damage. And yeah, with this, I'm able to, actually, I don't really have my abilities up there, but let's see how much physical damage I can do. Let me just spam really quick. So with 45 stacks, I'm doing about 1,000 damage every hit, just like naturally, which is kind of stupid in and of itself. It's just no crit, no nothing, just straight raw damage, and you get it up even higher. So, but if you just hit the bell, you win. 36,000 damage to that guy for the free. And pretty much you take damage, you run around, smack bells, and you can't die. And if I just keep smacking the bell, look, I just gain my heart back for free. Instantly, too. It's just so dumb. This build is just so good. And I thought I would share it here and recommend it because it is just so stupid and it can just carry you through the whole game. And it did with me, as you could tell, because I have literally nothing else as leveled up as this stuff. And I only had that weapon and necklace, the poison necklace, leveled even that much because I just to try it out. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment in the video if you have any concerns about the build or what you should run earlier in the game, since you're not able to just chuck, the most OP stuff on first. I could recommend some things. Or if you guys have your own builds that you would like me to try or show off, I could do that too, and you could tell me to build, and I could go farm some Ichor and just, max out that build too and see how it compares, or just in general see how good it is. And if you guys like the video, drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe, because there'll be more videos like this probably in the future. And I do make other content, so yeah, that would be much appreciated. And peace out, guys, and keep gaming. See you in the next one.